Greetings everybody, I am the Soviet Warlord and today I am bringing you another episode of Stakhanov's Builds, Rapid Fire. Today I will be covering the Baza. The Baza is a fast-firing, suppressed 10-0 submachine gun built for a multitude of purposes. It can be used at Mastery Rank 7. The Baza can be obtained directly from the market for 240 platinum, or the blueprint purchased from the Clan Dojo after researching the Axe Stiletto. Statistics-wise, the Baza deals very light but somewhat balanced damage across the three categories as follows: 5.8 impact, 6.7 puncture, and 3.5 slash. Accuracy is exceptionally high with the Baza at a rating of 80, making your shots virtually pinpoint precise. And with almost non-existent recoil to speak of, staying on target is very easy indeed. Fire rate is also incredibly high at 16.67 rounds per second. Magazines are healthy, although a tad on the small side, at 40 rounds. Reloads are very sprightly though, requiring 1.4 seconds. And while the damage of the Baza is very light, the fourth lowest of any currently available rifle, it excels on the peripheral figures. The Baza boasts a higher than usual critical chance at 26% at base, and is tied with several other weapons for the highest critical multiplier of any rifle in the game at present, at a solid 3 times damage. Status chance is good, but far from noteworthy at 10%. Unusually though, this weapon does suffer from damage fall-off, though much less harsh than other weapons. You will be dishing out full damage up to 22 meters, and this will fall to its minimum at 34 meters, where you will be dealing half of your full damage output from there onwards. But for those who like to tussle with their foes up close, the Baza is almost a perfect fit. So moving on to performance. Very well balanced and simple to use, the Baza's exceptional accuracy and high fire rate will allow any user to output scary amounts of damage on target in a very short space of time, without the need to compensate for recoil or poor aim. So whether employed from the flanks or used as a full frontal assault weapon, the Baza turns its hand to both roles equally well. The weapon being silent also makes it a great gun for use in spy missions and rescue, where an accent is placed on stealth play and the element of surprise. The fairly even distribution of impact, puncture and slash damage also makes it a fairly good fit for dealing with any foe, although there will be a small element of edge against armoured units. A healthy degree of caution will not go unfounded though. Despite a good 40 rounds on tap, the deadly fire rate will see you depleting magazine after magazine as you unleash your hailstorm of bullets against your foes, and getting caught dry at just the wrong time can get you in trouble on more than one occasion. While it pays to be aggressive, be wary not to cross the fine line into recklessness. And even with 800 rounds in reserve, or 20 magazines, instead of the standard 540, not taking the time to collect ammo will quickly catch up with you. While the vast majority of rounds will go to good use, hitting targets, it is deceptively easy to run out when playing defensively. It can be said that one drawback to the Baza is the lack of flexibility of build setups. Despite being a versatile weapon in roles and fighting ability, the light damage makes it heavily reliant on the critical potential in order to remain a viable weapon. To that end, this is how we'll be constructing the Baza, adding potency to your bloated critical stats and putting a spring in your step everywhere you go. Rather than serration, I'll be opting for amalgam serration on this build. While it sacrifices 10% of the damage compared to the original counterpart, it will grant a 25% boost to your sprint speed, giving you more agility and speed while employing the weapon. You'll be in the right place at the right time every time. At the top end of the build, the difference only works out to be less than 12 damage points, a sacrifice well worth making. And to complement this, the standard split chamber will be added to effectively double your damage output. Our third and fourth choices should be fairly obvious. For a weapon which puts such a huge emphasis on the critical ability, Point Strike works very well. This will bolster your chance of scoring a clean critical shot up to 65%, so more often than not you'll be hitting much harder than you could imagine without it, and allows you to finish off opponents much more quickly. Aim for the head with your incredible accuracy to deal the very best damage you possibly can. To further amp up your lethality, Vital Sense comes in perfect synergy with Point Strike and more than doubles your critical output to 6.6 times, though this is just the first modification of two that we're going to be employing to maximise this potential. Hammer shots will be coupled in with this build to bring your critical hits to 8.4 times the damage, almost triple our initial result. And the added boost to status chance is nice, giving us better chance to bleed or stagger our targets as we attack. Especially noteworthy during stealth missions, even vastly superior opponents can be brought down with a flurry to the head from this weapon, and quick kills will keep the alarm off and the aggro away. Next, we will elect a choice of 3, depending on user preference. If you favour the heavy accuracy and wish to retain this unique selling point of the Baza, bladed rounds is a great choice, granting a further 120% critical damage, elevating that crushing multiplier to around 12 times, as long as you score a kill beforehand. And given you'll be aiming down the sights for most of your attacks, it's a fairly free bonus. Please note that this 120% bonus does not show up on the written game stats, though will be present in game while playing. Simply look for the buff next to your health bar while firing. If you prefer all-out offensive power, then heavy caliber will be the choice for you. A very costly modification and a punishing cost to your accuracy rating, the Baza still performs surprisingly well. You won't be quite as pinpoint as you would without it, but it's still very usable and functions much more like a standard assault rifle. So if raw damage is your thing, then you can't go wrong with this mod. If you're struggling with the magazine capacity, then elect Wildfire. This modification will bring your ammo supply up to 48 rounds instead of the standard 40, and allow you that little bit of extra dispensation before running dry. In the grand scheme of things, this equates to just under half a second of fully automatic fire, but it works quite well, especially when picking shots correctly, and it helps to couple the fire damage with our elemental selection. Given the Baza's even ability to fight on any front, the mixed element of choice will serve you well. However, given light armor is easily beaten by the Baza and its puncture, we will focus on cutting through heavier foes and the tough alloy armor typically employed by the higher tier Grineer units, while also minimizing the former cost. While viral damage is an incredibly strong choice, keeping our loadouts multifaceted is also in mind here. To that end, Hellfire becomes element number 1. On its own, having the ability to panic foes and deal damage over time, it's the mixed ability that we're looking for. Stormbringer adds to this to make Radiation. This gives you a powerful ability to tear through strong armor such as that employed by the Grineer Napalms and Elite Lancers, and gives you the ability to keep the Baza competitive even at higher levels. If you chose Wildfire as your previous choice, this will be enhanced even further. Should you have an Exilus slot, Terminal Velocity is notably absent from the weapon choices, so to this end we will be electing a Rifle Ammo Mutation, or should you possess it, Primed Ammo Mutation. This will more or less end your repeated need to continuously scavenge for extra bullets, and keep the pressure up much longer during prolonged missions. So that's the build. One designed for dealing rapid fire death against your strongest foes, one designed to be good undercover or in your enemy's face. While having the ability to punch through enemies would be good, there is just simply not enough flexibility to employ this without severely compromising on some of the weapon's better attributes. And a well-trained, accurate hand would outweigh the benefits of punch through with a bit of practice. In order to fight either faction, simply swap out the elements to the fight accordingly. Radiation for Grineer, gas or fire for the infested, and electric for the corpus. It is noted that to get the maximum out of this build, you will require 7 formers, polarizing every slot on the weapon. The reason for no viral build is a simple one. In order to achieve this, this would require 2 D-polarity polarizations, and this would essentially make the weapon impossible to switch back to other elements, as switching back would exceed the capacity by 1, owing to an incorrect polarity. So we have foregone this in a radiation build in order to preserve the weapon's flexibility. The Baza makes a very good pairing to almost any frame imaginable, from offensive to defensive to stealth builds. The versatility of this weapon cannot be understated, so put it to good use. So when the odds are against you, when facing large numbers, or whether you need to strike from the shadows, move fast and complete your mission, The Baza fits the bill. So load it up, take aim, and bring your killing up to critical mass. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Stakhanov's Builds. Join me again next time when I'll be covering the Atomos. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe if you wish to see more upcoming builds. But until then, stay safe and I'll see you next time.